all right. So, Steel Blue has a commercial door line. This is incredible. And we have this door line thanks to Bray Allen and Brad Astolos. So, Bray and Brad, thank you for all the hard work that you guys have done. Congratulations on pushing this across the finish line and actually getting this out to the customers. So, let's talk about this. We've got the 1270, we've got the 1240, and the 1250. And so, at a high level, what's the difference between those three doors? You know, why would somebody buy a 1250 instead of a 1270?
So thank you, Jared. Thanks a lot for putting this together. I'll jump in and just address this one. The 1250 is used primarily in coastal regions where, high velocity hurricanes and things of that nature, where wind load rating is a priority. So we went through strenuous testing. Brad and I did, alongside a couple of other folks in our organization. Did all of the testing at a test lab down here in Georgia, actually. And so that's where that 1250 goes, primarily, again, coastal regions, Florida, and around the coast. We also have the 1270, which is wind load rating. That's just not as high of a rating, but it still covers 95% plus of the country. But in an application where the 1270 is not applicable, then we do have the 1250. It's almost like the big brother, it'll step up there and pick it up. A little extra support with the wind locks and the wind bar and the guides.
Let's talk about actually the development of these doors. These doors have been developed for over the course of years now, from what I can understand. The 1270, that's been around for quite some time already, and now it's got the brother and sister door as well. And so, give me behind the scenes on what it's been like to develop these doors. And also, I've seen some of these like behind the scenes photos that you guys have of like the testing and putting them up. Like, these doors are massive. It's something to say and read 12 by 14, 14 by 14, but when you actually see it up there, you're like, oh my gosh, this could be at like a football stadium or something. It's crazy.
Yeah, Brad, take off. Why don't you take this one?
They were fun for us. To put together and actually develop and bring something to fruition that we hadn't worked with in the past, especially for me. I know Bray's worked with them all his life, but for me to learn a new product and again to work with him and to develop something that the market needed. So even with the 1270, we kind of had the game plan of making a door to kind of beat the market on the wind rating, but without having the ease of installation, without having the wind locks and stuff. And that was the main driver behind that door. And so far, what we've seen in the field, everybody loves it. It meets, or definitely exceeds everybody's expectations. But yet you still have the ease of install and the ease of operation compared to a competitor's door that has the wind locks and it's a clunky door and it's hard to maintain. So.
Brad, do you recall when we did the testing? Sorry, Jared, maybe a side note here.
Yeah,
Brad, do you recall? I won't name the lab and I won't name the person, but do you recall when we did the testing and we gave them the pressure that we wanted to go to with the 1270? And the technician was like, "Are you sure? Yeah, let's give it a whirl." And then they were in shock and awe.
Then it passed, and he was like, "Damn!"
He brought people from inside the office out. It's like, there's no way y'all would imagine this door would do this, but it did it. And so, look, I just, reached over and grabbed a feather and stuck it in Brad's cap that day, because, he had definitely earned it with that one for sure.
I feel like that's got to be one of the funnest parts of your job where, I've seen this like behind the scenes testing you guys do of like trying to blow out the doors, using like the wind and stuff. And I'm like, I know, a lot of maybe what other parts of your job might be fun too, but I think personally that would be so fun to do. It's like a science experiment, like back in the school days, but on a greater scale.
Yeah, it's kind of bittersweet because you're there and you're like, okay, we want it to pass, we want it to pass, we want it to pass. and you're pushing the envelope, and so the beauty of it is we don't have an in-house test chamber. And so when we went to the test lab, we had an idea of where we wanted to be and where we wanted to end up, but we really didn't know exactly how it would perform. We knew on paper, but in reality, we weren't exactly sure. And so every time, we carried multiple doors so that we could test the failure one direction and test the failure the other direction, and then try another sample to see, and so every time we were doing that, every iteration there, we were just pushing the envelope a little bit further. Like, okay, it worked better than we had
Yeah,
drafted it up. So,
whether we got lucky, but it worked out. We made so many extra doors to take with us, and we didn't use them because the door worked. It passed all the tests with the first door we
that's
put
right.
up. We didn't have
That's
to
right.
utilize all the other ones. It's kind of
That's
cool.
right.
That's incredible. So most people know us as a storage door company. Most people know us for the 9530 series. And so, with this commercial line, what are some of the bigger differences? I think a simple question that is going to come up is it just a bigger door? Is that it? And I think there's probably a couple other pieces to it.
Sure. So I'll take this one. I'm kind of heading up that commercial campaign anyway, so this will be a good segue for me. So, look, from the outside, it does just look like a bigger door. We use the same 26 gauge curtain, same kind of an industry standard profile, and it's grade 80 material. We use an aluminum bottom bar, which is not as common in the industry, but we feel like it's a better mousetrap. We use that on our 9530 series as well. So standing from the outside looking in, you don't really see that much of a difference. When you go on the inside and you see the guts and components of it, we get asked the question a lot. To your point, Jared, why is this one built different than this one? Just the sheer size of them in general causes us to have to put larger diameter springs under more tension, things of that nature, and multiple springs. Some of our doors carry 3-4 springs on them. And so the 9530 series is a live axle assembly, which we can fix a spring on each end to rotate the axle. On the 12 series doors or the commercial series doors, those are dead axle assembly because we have to put multiple springs across that axle point. So one end of it's fixed to the axle, the other end of it rotates the drums. And so that's the real driver and concept behind it. The 9530 series is what we have as an open barrel design. The 12 series, and I'll say the 95 series is our open barrel design, primarily for storage. The 12 series, it's a closed barrel. It's a spiral duct tube. We use that closes off all the springs, but that's also what gives it the rigidity by using independently spinning drums. So it ties all of those drums together across the entire width of the door so that everything works in unison and harmony to cause the door to go up and down straight as it's supposed to.
So we use a little bit of heavier axle pipe as well, just to because you're getting a bigger door, so you have more sag basically in the door. So to try to eliminate that, we just went with a little heavier gauge axle pipe to help mitigate that. Awesome.
Are these doors going to be harder to install as well? I can imagine. I mean, it's a bigger door, so inherently maybe it's a little tougher to install. I got to stick to the instruction manual.
Yeah, harder to install? No, it's not difficult. In fact, getting into these 12 series doors, if you take maybe my verbiage is off a little bit here. I'll use historical verbiage. If you take a tailgater, which is kind of a guy that just operates out of his truck and out of his living room and whatever, he just works for himself. Maybe he's got 2 trucks, doesn't have a big place of business, not a whole lot of commercial equipment. They really can't get into heavy industrial or heavy commercial like rolling steel or hangar doors or anything like that. But they have a lot of opportunity in industrial applications or distribution facilities that they can put in these doors that doesn't require specialty tools. So they don't have to have massive jack cranes and all this kind of stuff to get these into place. These doors don't weigh tens of thousands of pounds. They're not individual slats. It's just a much easier. You don't have to have a welder and all these things to get it done. So it's again more difficult to install. It's not any more difficult. It takes longer. It's a different process, but it's really easy to learn. It's really simple to learn. To your point, if you follow the installation instructions, and Brad will tell you and attest to this, because I've been doing it for so long, it just comes natural to me. So anytime we're validating instructions, I stay away from it. I'm like, I'm not doing that because I just take it for granted that this is the next step. So a typical male chromosome there, I'm not looking at the instructions like I should. And so I try to lean on people that don't have the experience in installing them that I do, so that they can validate the instructions. Brad's been a huge help in that. We've even grabbed guys off the shop floor, say, hey, we know you build them. Help us put it up to make sure that we're vetting out, the process and how we do this. So yeah, that's kind of how the comparison between the 12 series and the 95 series.
Just a completely different process on how you do it. These are,
Yes, sir.
again, the brackets typically on a storage door mount to the guys, and you can stand that door up.
Mhm.
Or these,
Mhm.
the brackets are fixed to the building structure, and you're picking this door up and setting it down on, and then installing guides afterwards. So it's just a
Mhm.
different process. So one's not so to speak harder than the other. It's just completely different installation method. That's all.
Mhm.
It makes sense. I mean, it's a way bigger door, so much more weight behind it.
Mhm.
So I think people that might be listening in on this might be wondering, well, how the heck do I get my hands on this? So who do they order it through? And also, what's a lead time looking like on something like this?
Sure, great question. Yeah, so lead time's typically 2 to 3 weeks max. Shouldn't take us any more than that. We do keep some stock doors on the floor that we can turn around pretty quickly. I will tell you that that's been a challenge, right? Just in the few days that we've rolled this out, we've had a lot of response, and so the stock levels are increasing as we speak to ensure that we keep and maintain the service level to our customers. And so the best way is just to go to our website. You'll find all the contact information. You can request a quote there. Feel free to call me. You can reach out to me through the website as well. Just contact Steel Blue. Grab somebody with a Steel Blue shirt on if you see them at a trade show, or go to the website and drop it, and Jared will pick it up and filter it out to where it needs to be. And yeah, we'll make it happen.
Absolutely, yep. So before we wrap it up, any final words, gentlemen, about the new commercial door line?
Look, man, I just want to thank Brad while I've got the opportunity here publicly. As Brad alluded to, he's not from the door industry, but he's going to be in the door industry Hall of Fame when it's all said and done. So he's been an instrumental part of Steel Blue and the success that we've enjoyed here. We literally would not be where we're at today without him. If I had a hat on, I would tip it to him. I mean, he's just he's turning into a legend in the industry, and he is under contract, so he's not going anywhere else. So that's a good thing. So the other folks out there that we compete with, don't try. And so, Brad, thank you again for all that you've done and all the work that you put into this. We truly owe you a great amount of gratitude and appreciation for your efforts, your skill set and knowledge. It's impeccable. So thanks again so much.
Appreciate it, man. I learned from the best since I learned I wasn't a door guy, but this guy here is, and we've learned that even when the installing, you're doing the window test, all that stuff. It was I'm like I struggled with it, couldn't get something. And he comes out, and 2 seconds later, it's running perfect. So I think I give kudos where kudos is due. Man. So thanks so much.
It's a group effort for sure, man. Even Jared, I mean, you're blasting this out there, dude. We, it's still blue. You hear the things about a family environment, or calling people like family or whatever. It has its own controversies with people that you work with, but the reality is those are the people that you put in the blood, sweat, and tears to make it happen with those people, and that's who we are, Still Blue. Good, bad, and ugly, right? We've gone through it all, and we're still sticking together. So yeah, we're appreciative for the entire team, for those folks that are in the shop putting these doors together every day. They've got hundreds and hundreds of them under their belt now, and just super stoked about it. So we couldn't do it without them. From Tyrone in the axle department to Jamie getting them out the door, to Chase and Jared and the door table teams making it happen. We couldn't do it without them. Even a shout out to Liz. Liz is working diligently getting these quotes out and getting these orders processed, and so just a phenomenal team effort all the way around. And that's why we win. We win together with our customers. That's why we win.
Yeah, and we look forward to scaling this across the country. So we're really excited to see where this is going to go. But congratulations again, gentlemen. Absolutely kicked some butt on this one. We're super excited. And yeah, we'll see you guys all across the trade shows. Thank you so much.